Welcome back, friends, to Max Q Barbecue. My name is Craig. It's been 3 weeks since we started our dry brining of our Coppa muscle. This is pork neck muscle. Comes off of the top part of the Boston butt. And for 3 weeks, we've had it in the refrigerator with an equilibrium brine. What that means is we balance the amount of salt that we put into the bag with the volume of salt to provide the percentage of salt penetration that we want on the meat. So it's been equilibrium brining, and it's been brining for about 3 weeks, which is about 2 weeks longer than it needed to be. But I was traveling for work and wasn't able to take care of it. So now we're going to go ahead and take this thing out and plop it down on our tray, and we're going to dry it out and then wrap it up with our dry aging wrap. So we're going to break here for a few minutes. I'm going to dry it out, get our dry aging wrap going and some string, and we'll get this thing wrapped up and ready to start drying it until it loses about 30 to 35% of its wet weight. So see you back when I get this thing dried off. Let's take a moment to look at our dry brine that we used 3 weeks ago to cure our Capicola. Our dry brine is calculated using a spreadsheet that I created that based on the weight of the meat or the protein, each of the ingredients is separated out as a percentage of that weight. This way I can replicate the recipes quite accurately by converting everything into percentages and then into grams, which I use a kitchen gram scale to weigh out the ingredients. Our ingredients for today's Capicola includes kosher salt, Prague No. 2 curing salt, black pepper, chipotle pepper, paprika, turbinado sugar, red pepper flake, and garlic powder. In the comments below, I will post the spreadsheet showing the exact calculations in grams of each one of these elements. But essentially we use 39 grams of kosher salt, about 5 grams of Prague No. 2, 15.6 grams of black pepper, 5 grams of cayenne, 5 grams of chipotle, 8 grams of paprika, 15 grams of turbinado sugar, 5 grams of red pepper flake, and 15 grams of garlic powder. We took this mixture of spices and salts and dry mixed them up inside and placed them inside of our vacuum bag. And we use a vacuum bag technique for our dry brine. And these ingredients are calculated in the percentages that we want to achieve through an equilibrium brine, which means that if you took that amount of salt and mixed it with that amount of meat, and the salt permeated throughout the meat, the percentages would be equal to the percentages that we calculated on our spreadsheet. So this gives us a very precise brining mixture to cure our meat and to keep us safe. For example, the Prague powder, we don't want to go over 200 parts per million, but at the 0.3%, so that's 0.003, the total amount of weight of the meat works out to about 187 parts per million of the nitrates in our meat, which is well within the range of safety for our nitrates. So just wanted to give you a little update on what we used for our rub, and now we'll get back to our video of how we prepped our Coppa muscle for our drying in our refrigerator. We have our Coppa dried, and now we can place on top of our dry aging wrap. We're going to go ahead and wrap our Coppa with the dry aging wrap. tie this off and go get some netting. There it is, nice and tied off. Let's kind of straighten these out a little bit. Give it a nice, pretty tone to it. And then we're going to go ahead and wrap this with our net so that it takes on a nice round shape while it dries. Get my netting and I'll come back and show you what it looks like. Alrighty, we have our netting in place with a little help from my camera person over there. So we're going to do a knot here and tie it and then fold that back through the knot. Tie it again on this side of it, and then we'll tie a loop so we can actually hang it. Got another piece of string for the other end. I'll get that tied and then we'll come back and show you what it looks like when it's all ready to go back in our drying chamber, which we're going to be using our refrigerator for again. But this time, since we want it to dry a little slower, I'm going to put it in this little plastic tub so we can raise the humidity around it and not dry it out too quickly. We've got our Coppa wrapped in its netting and our string, so it's got a nice round shape to it. And the next thing we're going to do is we're going to get our wet weight to find out how much weight we want to lose. It is 1,616 grams. And we are taking 70, we're going to let 30%. We've already calculated that, which is going to take a little over 400 grams away. And that's going to get us to a target weight of 1,130 grams. So just a little over a kilo, and we'll have our weight, our target weight. We're going to place it in our plastic container so it'll help control the drying rate, and then we'll rotate it every day, and we'll weigh it up at the end of the first week and see what the weight is, and then when we get close to the target weight, we'll take it out, cut away the netting, and then start testing and slicing it. So see you in a couple of weeks. We're out here in the garage with our refrigerator where we're drying our Coppa. Just wanted to show you our setup here. I have our Coppa in a plastic tub. Now you notice right now I took the plastic tub lid off, and the reason I took the lid off was it was drying way too slow. This thing's been drying for several months now. And you can see it's starting to get a little mold on the outside, and this mold is harmless. And we're going to cut most of that mold off when we open up our Coppa and start to prep it for slices. So let's get this thing out of the refrigerator, bring it inside, and start prepping it for eating. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to take our Coppa out of our drying container, and we're going to weigh it to see how we're doing on our dryness factor. Now we look at our tag here, our target weight is 1,130 grams. So we've got our scale set here. We're going to place our Coppa on it, and it is currently 1,183 grams. So we're right on target for the dry weight that we're trying to achieve. Now that we've achieved our target weight, we're going to go ahead and remove our jet netting as well as our dry aging wrap that we have on it. We've got our wrap peeled off of our Coppa, as well as we've taken the knife and removed that outer layer of the really hard and dry meat. So now we're going to make some slices and test our Coppa and see how it came out today. Now I may have to go get the meat slicer to really get some good thin slices, but just wanted to do a quick test here. And there we go. There's our Coppa. Quick taste test. Bon appetit. Just what you need for making up a muffalata or any other type of sandwich. Well, I hope you enjoyed our meat curing video today, and thanks for watching.